Welcome back to Ask the Expert. We have Joel joining us from K3C Credit Counseling. You can give us a call live on the air, 789-6559, extension 2803. You can send us a question via email, via Facebook, via Twitter, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca. We were talking about making the call. That's an incredibly tough step, but the online assessment. So if you can get into some details as to what people need to be looking at prior to even coming in with their information, because there's going to be so many questions that you're going to ask. It's nice to have that individual have some of those answers.
Well, sure. When people come in, we tell them, this is what you need to bring. This is what this is what you can expect. It takes about an hour. Bring in their pay stubs and their bills, obviously, and we'll look at their budget and that kind of thing. But we do have an online assessment that people can do from the privacy of their own home or the comfort of their own home on a Sunday morning with your coffee type of thing, where you can go online at k3c.org and go to the Credit Counseling website and click on online assessment and then start entering your information. It's secure, it's confidential, it's free, and people can start putting in and start thinking about how much money they spend on these particular items, whether it's groceries and gas. Those are the tough ones to kind of ballpark, right? But and then your bills and that kind of thing. So it gives us an idea of the expenses. It gives us an idea of your income, your debts, and your assets. And when you're all done and you're feeling pretty good about what you just did, you press submit. It'll go to a counselor. The counselor will review it, send you an email, reach out to you somehow. And it's a great way to just sort of get the ball rolling a little bit. And there's no obligation in this thing. It's just sort of to see where we're at and get a bit of feedback and see if you want to make an appointment or not.
It's almost the wake-up call, though, would you not say? Once you've finally been able to actually get on the computer, type in the address, and then click on the assessment, having to come up with that information makes you realize, where you actually stand, because sometimes just talking out your problems, you start to listen to them. You need to kind of speak out loud about it.
And if you're thinking, oh, geez, I'm going to go on that, make sure that you have all the information handy, because the website does time you out. So if you saying, oh, I'm not sure what my investments are, I'm going to go in my filing cabinet. By the time you dig it out and go back, it's timed out. So make sure you get all that information first. And you're right, it's an eye opener. And then
What are the counselors looking at then? Once you've submitted that form, what are they going through to make to come up with their conclusion?
All of it. For one, every aspect of that online evaluation is really crucial to understanding what somebody's options are. Because if they have assets, if they have a house and there's equity, well, that is a different set of options than if somebody's renting and has a part-time job or something along those lines, right? So we really need to look at that. But really what we're looking at the end of it all is how much money is available after the bills are paid to pay debt. So people end up in their budget putting debt payments in their budget. Well, I take those out and I want to know, okay, how much is left at the end of the month to repay debt? And that's a big part of the equation, because if somebody owes $40,000 in unsecured cards and they have $200 left at the end of the month, it doesn't make sense. So then we need to look at, well, is there a way to reduce expenses, increase income, or we'll look at selling an asset. I mean, there's different things that people can do. And
that's the thing that you guys will really look at, and I think the best part is you being able to lump it together and then be able to find the overall solution.
And once somebody does the online assessment, sometimes a lot of it is just a little phone call and you have a chat from the house with the counselor and tweak some of the numbers and come up with some options and that kind of thing. And a lot of times we can do it over the telephone. We don't like to do it that way as a rule, but it's not unheard of.
Every situation is different.
No, exactly.
And something that I'm learning about is second chance cards or something. We're going to take a look at a Twitter question, I believe, that's just come in from Janice. Can I apply for a credit card? It's been 1 year since I filed for a proposal. What is that concerning?
Well, a proposal would either be a formal proposal, which is a consumer proposal offered by a trustee in bankruptcy, or it could be an informal proposal, which is a debt management program offered by our agency. Whichever it is that you're using a third party to help you restructure your debt. You're making monthly payments, in our case, to K3C Credit Counseling once a month. We will pay creditors. So that's what a proposal is. you're, as a debtor or a client, is not making payments directly to the creditor. You've changed that, and you say, okay, I'm going to make a payment to K3C, and then they're going to make sure that things are paid. So if you're into that process, it's been a year, you are allowed to apply for credit. Problem is these types of programs do affect your credit.
But don't you want to shake the people and say, listen, we are really working at paying off what you exist for someone to then go out and take another one?
Absolutely. The whole idea is to learn to live without it. There are products out there such as secured credit cards that allow people to rebuild credit. I mean, that's what the purpose of the tool is. And how it generally works is that you put some money down. So you take some of your money from your pocket and you put it down on that credit card, and they use that as a security deposit. Then they'll issue you a card, sort of like paying first and last rent.
Right.
And they issue you a card that you would use as a regular credit card. But they hang on to your money just in case something doesn't go so well, and then they'll use that to pay off the card. So there's little risk to the bank or whoever's lending it to you, but not every bank does it. So you'd have to see if your bank does it and take it from there. And
go from there.
Yeah.
However, if you're actually in that situation at that point, you're really looking at being able to pay off the ones that you do owe, and that goes through you guys actually being able to disperse it, because you have the relationships with the card companies, with the banks, to be able to bring down some of the interest payments, to be able to say, listen, we're getting the job done.
And it's very crucial to getting out of debt, because if you look at the regular interest rate on a credit card, it's 18.9% interest. So let's make it easy and say it's 20. Well, if you owe $10,000 on a credit card debt, it's $2,000, $2,000 a year on interest. If you even break that down, it's $166 a month that you have to pay just to maintain that level of debt. So by eliminating or reducing the interest, then you can get into a payment plan that when you send the money out, it actually reduces the debt, so that in a specific amount of time, you're debt-free.
Breathe in, breathe out. We have solutions for you. There are ways that we have to help you, especially with K3C Credit Counseling.